So most of us, when we're at home, we have a favourite toy, something that the dog loves. This happens to be Merlin's favourite toy. But for young people, when they're using a toy to get off the dog, what we have to teach the dog is to give it to us. So we have to tell them to give to us. The worst thing that you can do is try and read something that the dog is learning about out of their mouth. You'll break their teeth, and by putting your hand too close, they might inadvertently grab you on the hand. So have a toy that they love, give them to them as a reward, play with it, but do it very cautiously. And mums and dads, make sure you're with the kids when they're using this. So what you'll notice about Merlin, watch, down, is that his focus is on his toy. He's watching me, watching his toy, because he knows this is his favourite game. He loves to do it. Merlin, sit. Ready? Fetch. Oh, good boy, good boy. I didn't throw it very far because there's a lot of equipment in the yard. If the dog loves something, use it. If the dog wants a reward, which you should be giving them every time they do something new that you're teaching them, as a reward, instead of giving them food, give them praise. Give them a toy that they love. Give them that sense of excitement. So tomorrow when you come out to have it again, they'll run out with you and they're ready to go. So today, just for a few minutes, I'm going to go through some of the equipment that you can see has been set up behind me, and what you can do and how you can use it at home. So the first thing we're going to do today is these little cones. As you can see, this one's got a hole going all the way through it, and I like to use something with a hole in it to start with. This is about a little bit of scent work. So your dog has a great nose. One of their most powerful assets is their nose. So by setting these cones up, we can have a game with the dog just to see where the dog can find the food. Now here, for this setup, I've only got 3 cones out and they're quite close together. So when you start to learn how to do this with your dog and their nose and scenting, start off with 3 quite close together. After a week or so of having some fun with your dog, you'll be able to put out 10 or 15 and the dog will be able to go and find it. The second exercise that we're going to be doing involves just a piece of wood. If you can, find something with a spike on the end, or get mum and dad to help you, maybe some pieces of dowel. This is just some old PVC piping that we've got a piece of dowel and a nail through it at the end. So that just helps us put them in the ground. But anything you've got at home, cricket stumps or anything else that you can put in the ground, ask mum and dad though, make sure you check with them, get them to help you, and then you can put these in the ground and you'll see that they're on an angle. And I'll explain to you the reasons for that later on. The third exercise that we have is we just put a little tiny jump up there past where Merlin was playing with his ball, and we will do a little jump, but he's a big dog and we'll give you some rules around jumping your dog in a little minute. And then at the back we can see rings, the large tube if you like. That's just out of a kid's home playground. So you might have something at home that squashes up to about that big. You might want to try and see what else you've got around the house, but you can even get mum and dad to help if you've got a couple of big rings, put some material around it and then get the dog to go through that. And it doesn't matter if it's just a ring and it's only that wide to start with. Increase the width of the tunnel they're going through incrementally, so they're not going through a big long tunnel to start with. That can frighten the dog. Do everything to start small and then expand out. Starting off with this exercise, we've got to let the dog smell the food. I've just got a little bit of sausage here. As you can see with Merlin, loves the sausage. So a piece of cheese, a little bit of sausage, not too much though. You don't want to put on any weight when you're playing games, but have fun. Now, the reason that we do it this way is to make sure the dog's picking up the scent of the food. And once they pick up the scent of the food, then we can train them to go and find it. Merlin, sit, down, wait. So what we need to do is just to pick one and put it under some food underneath it. Come back, up, quick. Now we got to see if the dog will find it. Okay, so what we do to them is we say, Find. Oh, you got it straight away. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So you can have fun. As I say, just do a little couple of cones at a time. Next time you do it, mix it up. Put it in the first cone or the last cone. Have some fun. You don't have to have the cones in a straight line. You can have them anywhere around that you want. As your dog gets better with their nose, they'll be able to track and find it around the house. Okay, so have some fun with that, kids, this afternoon. Merlin, sit. Good boy. Don't forget, always give your dog lots of praise when they get it right. We're going to do a little bit of work with jumping over things. Now, there's a couple of things that you really need to remember. Firstly, we really shouldn't jump any dogs over anything higher than about 3 or 4 inches, maybe 75 millimeters, until they're 18 months old. Dogs are very soft through their top muscles, through their hips, through their front shoulders and their musculature when they're young. So if you want to do some jumping or some training to go for a dog to go over something, always start them off with something flat on the ground. A board about this wide and about that long is great. Even if you want to have some fun with mum and dad and get some paint and paint them, different colours, you can do that. What I don't recommend is that you get bricks and put a bar on top of it. I'll leave. And to put a bar on top. Merlin, come. And sit. If you use something heavy, they're going to bash the fronts of their legs. They may knock them over and they can hurt themselves. So when you're training a dog, particularly puppies, but any dog, you should always train them to go over something using the command over when it's flat on the ground. And slowly you can build it up a little bit each day. For example, the one that we're going to use here is one that we use for dogs that are very young, say up to 20 weeks of age. We don't put them over anything higher because it's too much for their bodies. So don't assume your dog's shoulders and hips and everything can take jumping. Don't jump them off a bench. Don't jump them off an edge like over here. Don't do that. Just put something flat on the ground, use the lead and tell them to go over before they get there. I'll show you how it works. Merlin, heel. You ready? Merlin, over. So as you can see, Merlin just steps over it. It's really not even a jump for Merlin. But I suppose for Merlin, the fun about doing things like this, even with a little jump that doesn't work for him, is that he's outside. You can see here that I've got this beautiful tube and it's quite a small opening. So this tube is not meant for this size dog. So I'm not even going to try and put Merlin through something like that. Why is it important? Well, it's important because we want to make sure that anything we're doing with our dog outside, any fun we're having with our dog is fun. And there's no danger to you or the dog. So we never use equipment that's made for tiny puppies and try and put a big dog in there. Because all that happens is the dog will stress and then we'll find it almost impossible to get them to go back through these things again. So when you're working and having fun with your dog, do it slowly. Take your time. Now, you might wonder, well, why have I got Merlin on a lead? And the reason I've got Merlin on a lead is to show you that it's important to have your dog by your side and teaching him or her how to have fun, but you're managing the dog. You have to manage your puppy through these processes, or a dog that you may never have had outside fun with apart from going for a walk. So you have to teach them, whether they're 3 or 4 months old, or whether they're 3 or 4 years old, or they're 10 years old. And of course, the older your dog gets, the less jumping exercises you should do, the less pulling exercises you should do, but you can do recall, you can do some sending, and you can certainly do some weaving pieces, which is what we're going to do now. Okay, so with the weaving exercise, there's a couple of really important things to remember. Firstly, you'll notice that the way I've put these, I've set them up with the sticks. They're not vertical, they're on an angle. and each one is different. So every second one is angled this way, every other one is angled this way. And the reason we do that is to make it easier for the dog to weave until they learn what weaving really is all about. As you do more weaving with the angled pegs, all in a straight line, the more you do that, then next time you can put the pegs a little straighter and a little straighter and a little straighter until they're straight up and down, perpendicular. And then you can bring them closer together. So always spread them out to start with, put them on an angle, and teach your dog. So what we have to always remember when we're doing these fun exercises is that everything we do is actually going to make a difference in the training of the dog. That's why we use commands. That's why when we're weaving through, we say in, out, in, out. That teaches the dog what that word, when you say in, bring the dog into you. When you're saying out, the dog's going away from you. By telling them that, after a little while, you can just say, you know, in to the car, and they know exactly what you're saying. So always use the command before they get to it, and I'll quickly run through now. You ready? Here we go. Come on, heel. Good boy. This way. This way. You ready? And out. In. Out. In. Out. Good boy. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. You ready? This way. This way. And out. In. Out. In. Out. And I did that one backwards. So I made sure he went way out to show that they can go all the way out. If you get it wrong, they can still go the other way. But it's easier to do it on the, come in on this side. So we always make sure that the one leaning away from us is where we start. And have fun with your dog. Come back and check. We've got some more things coming up in the next few days about different exercises you can do with your dog. Have a great day.